Hey folks, we're going to get started right here. We're currently looking at an LDT200 screen, and what we'll do today is we're going to sign in and we're going to validate and edit some logs. So the validation process might not be for everyone that's got an LDT200, but the log editing feature is something that is coming out, and we want to be able to show you folks and be able to show the drivers how to take care of that. So first we'll sign in. We're just going to go back into here. We're going to make a log edit. Oh. Well, what it's going to have me do before I can make any log edits is it's going to have me validate any logs that I have in here, and I've got a few days, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what I'll do is I'll come back here and I'll make my log edit. I wanted to log off at the end of the day here. So I'll double click on the log itself. I'll go off duty. And I'll set the time now. I can move this log from left to right. And I'm going to set the time in which I left that day. So let's say it was right there. And what I'll do is now I'll set my end time for the next day. So it takes you to midnight. You can set the end time there and save it. Continue that. And what I'll do is I'll come back here to the start of my new day, and you'll be able to see that it ends there at midnight and into this morning. So what I'll do is I want to go off duty again, and I'll do my start time here. I'll set it at midnight, and I'll bring it all the way forward until I got to right there, and I'll set it again. Now it's going to ask me to save and confirm what my log looks like. I'll hit continue, put in any comment I want to make. And what else we can do is we can review our log, and looking back you can just kind of scroll back to make sure the log looks correctly. And if there's any changes we want to make, we can still make that. And then what else we can do is I'll just go ahead and show you that. We'll close, and what it will do is it'll pop up any alerts that you have. If you have any logs you need to validate, it'll alert you upon sign-in typically. And then any log edits you've made while you're on the keypad before the end of the day. So like today we made the edits. So it's basically just having me come back in here and validate those. And then that's for today. And there you go. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and type them into the Facebook live chat, and then we can go ahead and answer those. I'll take a few moments to wait.
Dad Dan Wilson wants to know, can you still make the changes from the computer?
Absolutely. Good question, Dan. So if the driver has any changes, he'll get first crack at it. And then as soon as they validate those logs, then the office will be able to make any edits. So if, let's say, a driver edits his log, validates it, and then he came and he worked a little more in the shop or something like that, and you want to add some time to his log, it will allow you to make a log edit after the driver has validated his log, and then the next time the driver goes back on to a keypad, it'll ask them to validate the changes that you then made. So it kind of goes, it's kind of a back and forth a little bit, but it just makes sure that the driver can confirm that his logs are correct, and then the office is allowed to as well.
Jenny Hartfelder wants to know, can you show the edit again? I just joined late.
Sure. Let's see if I've got another login here. So what we'll do is we'll sign in. And we'll select our duty status. Past this. And what you'll actually see, if you have any unvalidated logs, you'll see this alerts button up here. It'll let you know that you have unvalidated logs. So we'll validate those logs for Nick right now, actually. Looks good. We'll validate that. There we go. So what we'll do, in order for the driver to do a log edit, come over here to HOS. It'll show his graph there. And what we want to do actually is we want to put him on duty driving here. There we go. I was double clicking too much. Let's find a better spot to make an edit. Let's go, I guess let's do earlier today. There we go. Just double click on the log. And then we'll put them on duty not driving, and we'll set our start time. We can find that here on the log. I'll set it for 8:30 exactly. Set the start time. Have me also validate any older logs. These are old logs that I have yet to validate. I picked a different driver, so of course. And then we'll go back in here. What we'll do is we'll go on duty driving. And we've set our start time, and we put it all the way out. So what we'll do actually, let's set it back here and bring it forward, right on through. We'll set the end time, and then we'll hit save. And then basically just allow you to compare. So in this case, let's say the driver didn't sign on right away, but then eventually signed onto a truck or came into the shop early or something like that.
While you're finishing up the edit here, Corey, Tom wants to know, can you edit a log from the computer if the driver forgot to log out and left for the day and went home?
The driver will need to validate the log. So after a day, it would allow them to do that. So, but you would still want, obviously you would still want the driver to log off, but you can go back in and make the edit after 24 hours, and then the driver will need to validate that log. So it'll just pop up for them like the alerts button we saw flashing before.
And then Dan also wants to know, the ability to edit works with the FL1850 LVT200 combo 2.
That's correct. We may need to make that as a setting change in the profiles for you, Dan, but that's something that can be done. It's just a checkbox. Yeah. And then what I'll do is I'll actually end his day, go off duty, confirm that, pass his DVIR, sign for it. It's going to have me validate the log that we worked on here. and I'll sign for that.
Jenny wants to know what version for LoadTrek is the LDT 200 running. I think we're running 3.19.0, but I've never seen that alert button.
Yep. Also, a lot of these features are for the newer versions. What we can do is we can update your that keypad for you. But more importantly, this is just some of the new features that we'll be rolling out with some of the updates. So we kind of wanted to give people a look as to how they will work when they're fully rolled out. So it depends on the company and the hardware they're running and the software they're running. But you will eventually be able to see that alerts button will pop up and validation will be required. So. If anyone else has any questions, let us know.
Evelyn asks, can a driver go back and enter trailer numbers if it was forgotten 30 days ago? Or enter bill of lading if they forgot?
Actually, you can, but the driver would probably not go back on a keypad to enter that, but what they can do is they can give it to someone in administration and they can enter it in web apps. They'll just have to go in the HOS app and go to that driver's log on that specific day, and they can actually enter bill of lading and other things like trailer number.
And then Dan asks, how can dispatch ensure the driver has validated from dispatch screen? You actually won't be able to see any validation from the dispatch screen, but you will be able to see validation on the web app or in the HOS app and web apps. It'll be represented by a check mark in the upper right hand corner. So I believe that it'll be like a teal color if the log is validated, and it'll be more like an olive color if it's not. And you guys can let us know if there's any more questions. Well, we will probably plan on doing a few more of these trainings as all of the new features and obviously the ELD requirements get rolled out. We will continue to do these training things, and especially when it comes to keypad interactions, especially for drivers. But it's really important the staff learns it so that they can show it to their drivers. So I would encourage drivers to pass this video along to the drivers. And check out some of the other information we have on through our KBA section of our support portal. All that you can find from our website. So if you have any questions, just let us know. Thanks, guys.